So last year I watched Escape Room, the 2019 one that came out. Why 3 years in a row do we have a movie called Escape Room come out, and why do we have so many movies called Escape Room? I don't know. But anyways, I watched the 2019 one with Taylor Russell, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I mean, I love movies like Saw and anything that's a game and you have to figure shit out. Although, you couldn't pay me to be in an actual escape room of any sort. The one time I went, I understood absolutely nothing. They're not accessible. Anyway, that's not the point. So I watched the first one and I absolutely loved it, and I do what I usually do after watching a movie, and I just do a little bit of Googling to read about it. I come to find out that a second one is coming out on my birthday. I don't remember when exactly last year I watched the first one, but it was sometime before then, a couple of months I want to say. And the sequel was coming out on my birthday, and Holland Roden was in the cast. I've seen Teen Wolf, the TV show. That's where I think a lot of people would know her, and I absolutely love her, so I really wanted to see this movie. And then I saw it. Like many of us did. We went to the cinema to go see it, and what the hell did we watch, I think is what a lot of us wondered. The movie ends and we're all just incredibly confused because it's so bad, and people that were said to be in the cast were nowhere to be seen in the movie. One person in particular, Isabel Fuhrman, who you might know as the little girl in Orphan. It was announced that she was going to be in the cast. We got excited. We expected to see her when we went into the cinema to watch the movie, only for her to be nowhere to be found. So everybody's just incredibly confused because there's no announcement saying that she wasn't, or she was no longer in the film. So what the hell happened? Anyway, so for the whole last year and a half since that had come out, I don't think anyone's really talked much about the movie unless it's to make fun of how awfully bad it is. And then last week, I came across a CinemaSins video, alright, about Escape Room 2. I was bored, I needed something to watch, and CinemaSins is deaf accessible with the hard, burned-on captions. So I thought, let's watch it. Scroll down through the comments as I typically do. Come to find out, there's been an extended cut / alternate version of the film this whole time for the last year and a half. I'm going to assume that it's been out for the last year and a half. And you know what I did? I watched it. I paid $15 on Amazon to buy the movie because there's no rent option. And I got scared. I got really scared because I was like, $8 that I paid to watch in cinema was not worth it. And now I'm not sure paying double that is gonna be worth it. It was worth it. It was absolutely worth it because the extended cut, which really isn't an extended cut if we're gonna be honest, because it's only about 6 minutes longer. Is it extended? Yes, but it's only 6 minutes. Whoop-de-doo. It's an entirely different movie, which is a good thing. The middle of it is the same. The games are the same. The rooms are the same. Most of them. But the beginning of the movie is completely different, as is the end of the movie. The whole last 25 minutes, I want to say, is completely different. And, yes, Isabel Fuhrman, aka the little girl in Orphan, is in the movie. And all I can think is, why didn't we just have this version to begin with? Now, according to some of the comments in the CinemaSins video, some people did see the alternate cut in theaters. I don't know, but I saw whatever the hell garbage they came out with, where they brought Amanda back from the dead, which, as much as I love Amanda, I thought she was a great character. And okay, I was happy to see her back, but at the same time, I was like, what was the point? Because you want Zoe to make more rooms for you or for them, and they made it, if I recall correctly, they made it this weird thing about how the mannequins in the beach room were Amanda and her child, but they changed that up for the alternate version. Ben is still alive at the end either way, which is nice, but the way they go about saving him in the extended cut is way better than whatever the hell the theatrical version was, especially because the theatrical version had that god-awful weird dub that is extremely noticeable. You notice it because you just watch Zoe's mouth not move at all while the audio goes on, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And when they save him in the extended cut, it makes so much more sense because you know why it makes so much more sense? We got rid of the terrible therapist that made absolutely no sense. I guess she wasn't really supposed to anyways because she was the enemy this whole entire time, but you got more of a backstory with Minos, and that's what we needed. That's exactly what we needed in the sequel, not whatever the hell that went on in the original. The original version of the sequel does open up to a third one because you still haven't killed Zoe, and Zoe still hasn't tried to kill Minos or hasn't been able to kill Minos or whatever. But it was still a terribly done ending because wasn't it that the ending of the first one is on the plane, on the escape room version of a plane, and then the sequel, the original ending of the sequel, played because the therapist is on there, and that's when she realizes, oh no, my therapist was evil all along and part of the organization this whole entire time. Hello, the plane is now an escape room. So yeah, you still get that ending that opens it up to the third one, but it was so bad. It was so bad. So this one, again, it opens up, but so much better because now Isabel Furman's character, who is the daughter, who you find out has been the villain this whole entire time, mostly to her dad at the moment, well, and her mom, because she killed her mom to try to please her dad. And now it opens up to her being the villain for the third one. And I guess she was the villain this whole entire time rather than her dad. I mean, they're both villains, but her more so because she's the one that made all of these dreams to begin with. She's the genius, she's the mastermind, and her dad is the one that takes all the credit for it. But I like this one so much more because, again, backstory. And there's something about villains being the same age as the people that they're trying to kill that I enjoy so much more. I don't know what it is. But also, women villains do something for me. So I'm excited to see where they go with that for the third one, if they're making a third one. Oh, I'd like to think that they are, but there hasn't been any note on that yet. Can we look at that real quick? Will there be a third escape room? So far, Google is saying that there hasn't been a release date. There hasn't even been an approval. I don't know if anyone's tried writing it. This thing says at time of writing, Escape Room 3 has no release date, but I don't know if they're actually writing it. But now here's the question that I have if they do come up with a third one. Are they going to follow the storyline from the original theatrical cut, or are they going to follow the storyline from the extended cut, the alternate version? Because now you have two completely different ways that this could go. Or are you just going to do what you did with the sequel and make two different versions of it? Which in my opinion just seems silly. And in my opinion, you should just go with the extended cut version because that's the better story and that's what we want to see. We want to see the new villain. But also at the same time, now you just have me curious about both versions, both ways that this could go, because I want to know what happens when Zoe refuses to make more rooms after Amanda tries to recruit her. That could go anywhere. I don't know where that could go, but it could go somewhere. Now I'm just so curious because you brought Amanda back from the dead. Or I guess she was never dead to begin with in that timeline. But really, I want to see what happens with Orphan Girl. I forget her name in the movie, but honestly, what I really want to know is why they decided to make two versions to begin with. Why are there two versions of Escape Room 2? Everything on Google so far on the first page is just saying that there are two versions without a why explaining that there are two versions. Okay, but I want to know why. Why do we have two versions? Well, why do we have two versions? What was the point? I'll say this though, the one thing that I still hate with both versions is the fact that you called it the Tournament of Champions. Did we really need to call it Tournament of Champions in this second one? Also, it didn't really feel like a Tournament of Champions. I don't know. I think you could have just gone with the sequel should have been just another round of games, more characters to be introduced that I guess would be alive, or maybe some flashbacks before we got to the contestants that would be in a Tournament of Champions. I don't know. Somebody knows what I'm trying to think of here. And I know this was explained already in the comments somewhere and other reviews that have been done in the last year, but I don't know. It just seems silly to me to have a Tournament of Champions in the sequel, especially when you've still opened it up to a third film. I don't know. Either way, if you haven't seen the sequel to Escape Room, honestly, if you haven't even seen Escape Room, the 2019 version with Taylor Russell, highly recommend. I liked it. And if you're gonna see the sequel, go with the extended cut because one, it makes more sense, and two, it's just better. But at the same time, I feel like I also recommend watching the theatrical version if you want something to make fun of. If you just want something to make fun of, there you go. But other than that, there's really no reason to watch that version. Like, save, I mean, if you can find it for free somewhere, then I mean, I guess why not? The only thing you really waste is 2 hours of your time rather than your money. But if you're gonna pay to watch it, just go with the extended cut and you'll thank me later. Anywho, those are my thoughts on the escape room movies that only took a year and a half to review. My bad. But yeah, if you've seen both movies or even just one of them, let me know what you thought down below in the comments. I want to have a discussion about this, theories, conspiracy theories, whatever, and let me know who your favorite character was in both. I do have a written version of this video on Patreon, so you can go look at that. That post in particular is free to the public, but if you would like extra and exclusive content, you want to support my work and all of that, I will have that link down below, obviously, and you're welcome to pledge anything for as low as $1 a month for all of that exclusive content, so that's always very much appreciated. But I also have a super thanks down here that's like a little tip jar via YouTube, so if you want to support that way, that's also always appreciated. For future videos like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when they do come out, and I thank you for making it to the end of this video if you did. I'll see you later.